Hey guys, as you can see, this week we're going to be doing some explosions in Maya, and this is kind of the explosion that we're going to be aiming for. It's really not that hard. It's just one emitter and one container. I have no fields or anything. It's just very simple. It got kind of a lot of keys here and there, but we didn't add anything to it. It's just the basic fluids container and one emitter, and this is going to be like one of the first explosion that we're going to do with Maya, and it's going to be more coming up. So this time we're going to try to do this one, and there was like a couple of other tests too that I did, let's see, this one here. Let's try it. Yeah, this one one of the early tests. One more. Let's look for it. A second. This one I think was kind of a high res test, as you can see here. This one needed a little bit. Seems like it did slow down a little bit in the beginning. That's why I didn't finish working with it, but I like it after all. It's a different effect. And let's see if we have any other one. Let's try this one here. Yep, but that's another one too. Alright, so let's get to it, guys, and start doing it. I got an empty scene here, and I'm gonna grab a 3D fluid container and an emitter with it too. I'm gonna scale my container to 20 by 20 by 20. Control A, and I'm gonna raise it up 10, so it's gonna be on the ground. And this one I'm gonna raise it down by -5, or actually -10. But it's laying right on top of this one, so we're gonna put it -9.5. Okay. And we're gonna change some attribute in it. Let's start with the basic emitter attribute. I'm gonna change it to volume. The rate per percent 100 is fine. This is it for this one here. For the volume attribute, I'm gonna change it to a cylinder. I'm gonna scale it to 7 by 0.5 to 7. Okay. What else? This is fine. I don't need any volume sweep. Okay. Now, because we are doing explosion, explosion always start as like a big burst, and this means like a big shot of density and fuels for like a short amount, but with a big quantity or a big volume of density and fuel for like 5 or 6 frames at the beginning, and after that it dies down, and the damping push the explosion down, and it won't let it rises up. So what we need to do, we need to give it a lot of density to begin with, and after that kill it in the first or 5 or 6 frames, or maybe 10 frames. So let's start with doing that. I'm gonna go to the fluid attribute. I'm gonna give it a density of 30 at frame 1. I'm gonna set a key, and I'm gonna set a key for the heat to 1, and for the fuel I'm gonna give it 6. I'm gonna set a key for it. I'm I'm gonna disable my grid here, my fluid grid, so it won't be evaluating when I'm making changes. So I'm gonna grab it again, and let's move. I'm gonna move like 10 frames. I'm gonna drop this to 0, 0, and 0, and I'm gonna set a key for each one of these. Right. One more thing, I want my fluids to be emitted and pushed high up, and to help with that, you're gonna give it some force towards the up axis, the y axis. So I'm gonna change the direction to the y, and long axis. Let's for the long axis, I'm gonna set it to 20 at the beginning. I'm gonna set a key, and let's say frame. I'm gonna go for just up this one. I'm gonna for frame maybe 40 and set it to 0. And set the key to 0. Already that's all what we need with our emitter. We don't really need much, and you can give it some directional speed too if you want to, but we'll see if we need that later on. Now, when I go to our emitters, I'm gonna put the resolution of 30. Okay. I need my temperature, dynamic grid. I need my fuel and dynamic grid. For the display, I usually turn the whole thing off, but I'm gonna just leave it at the bounded box for right now. That's it. For the dynamic simulation, I need to give it some dampening and not at the beginning. So I'm gonna set a key at the beginning at 0, and let's say at frame 60, and I'm gonna give it 0.0005. I set a key. This is very sensitive value, so you gotta be careful with it. I'm gonna add the solver. I'm gonna turn on the high detail one, or we can leave it for right now, and if we see some are having problems, we can turn it on. Sub steps, I'm gonna up it to 3. Solver quality, I'm gonna leave it. Now the simulation rate scale, that's gonna how fast your simulation is. So basically, since it's an explosion, it's obviously gonna be really fast in the beginning. So I'm gonna put it as 6. I'm gonna key it, and let's say we go up to frame 15 and put it down to 1.5, and I'm gonna set a key here. And I guess that what else? I'm gonna turn on auto resize. I'm gonna turn off everything else. I'm gonna my max resolution, I'm gonna turn it to 350. Auto resize, I'm gonna put it 0.1 and this one to 7. And if you want to really understand this very well, you need to check for the for the help file for in the Fluent. Will give you more in depth what these are for. For the content detail, for the density, we need to animate it too. For the buoyancy, I'm gonna put it as 30. So it's gonna give us that big push of the smoke and the fire going up very high at the beginning. And I set a key out for it, and let's say by frame 15, I'm gonna turn it down to 1, and then set a key for it. And dissipation, I'm gonna turn it to 0.1, 8.5. For the pressure, I'm gonna key it too. So I'm gonna set key at 0 at the beginning, maybe frame, let's say 20. I'm gonna set it to 1. The gradient force, I'm gonna up it and put it at 5. And the gradient force is basically it can do what the self-attraction and the repulsion does. So basically the fluid gonna be trying to self-attract, to attract to itself. With all this, let's give it a try and see what we got here. I'm gonna enable it here. Let's play. Awesome. And that's what we get here. Oh, one more thing we forget, since we are enabled auto resizing, you probably guys seen it. I'm not resizing, it's because you need to set the boundaries here. I'm gonna set this the X and the Z to none, and the Y I'm gonna turn this to -Y. Basically this is gonna play as the ground deflection, the ground collision. Okay. So we are still going in our track. For the density, the buoyancy here, it's set. It didn't grab out for the first key that we put on it. So let's try it again. Alright, you see the buoyancy, how does it affect the fluid? Okay, let's give it a dissipation of 1. Okay, now we're gonna do the velocity. I'm gonna give it beginning. I'm gonna give it like a second here. Close the one that we don't need. I'm gonna give it like 20 at the beginning. And just give it 20 and see what you're gonna what we're gonna see. Okay. Probably 15. Like, you know what? Give it 30. Yeah, that's your kind of your mushroom look here. So I'm gonna turn it. Let's just put some shading so we can see what we are dealing with here. I'm gonna raise it up a little bit. I'm gonna turn this one off. I'm gonna change this color here to black. That was great. I'm gonna move this one over here and give it a little bit here for my shading, and just gonna smooth this one down here. Okay, and I'm gonna make it smooth. Splines. Okay, so what we got here is kind of the mushroom kind of explosion, which really is very common with the fluid simulations. And up the transparency a little bit. Change this one here to black. And give it maybe and change it to density. Okay, so that's what we are getting so far here. It's just a regular mushroom explosion. Okay, Next, what we're gonna do is we can up the density a little bit here. This is the opacity here. Well, that's one kind of explosion. So let's keep working on our content here. Let's go to the lightning. I'm gonna enable the self shadowing too. Shadow opacity, I'm gonna lower it down just a notch. I'm gonna the ambient brightness is up here, maybe 0.5. I'm gonna change the color, kind of an orange color. Okay, under the shading too, shading quality, change it to 0.5. Maybe just smooth this faster. Okay, well that's one kind of explosion if you can look at it. But we are not aiming for this look. We are aiming for a different look. So where do we stop? We stopped at the. Let's try to animate our velocity here. So I'm going to set a key here at. I have a terrible mouse here. I'm going to set a key at frame 1 for 30. I'm going to disable my evaluation here and let's say by frame 20 and turn it down to 0. Evaluate it again and see what we're gonna see. You see it smooths out at the end. Maybe it smooths out too much, so what frame I wanna be is at 20. I'm gonna under 20. Yep, it's 20. For 20, I'm going to change it to 5. Set it to 5 and maybe frame 60. I'm going to change it to 1 and just basically gradually just turn it off to 0. Enable it again and see what you get. Awesome. Well, that's one kind of explosion here, as you guys can see. And we are still really doing a low res, so it's just 30. So probably when we finish, you need to put it at 100. Next, let's go to the temperature here. Let's raise the temperature scale to 5. And let's just put 5 and see what we get. And you see that it's more aggressive. Very aggressive, very exploding, which I really like it. Okay, I guess we're gonna leave it at 5. For dissipation, let's try dissipation of 4 and see if this, yeah, let's kind of turn it off quickly. Slow it down to just 1. Awesome, leave it at 0.5. Turbulence. Let's set this one high and see what we're gonna get. You really can't see that right now, but you'll be able to see it when we have more like more res. You can see it. For the, I think that's all that we need to do for the temperature. For the fuel, leave everything fine. The only thing I'm gonna up is temperature ignition. I'm gonna set it to 0.5 and play. Awesome. Okay. Now, one more thing, what we need to do, that doesn't look like the explosion that I showed you in the beginning, and that's because Let's go to the shading here very quick. Let's lower this down. And that's because we still have that mushroom look, and to get that shape that I showed you, you need to play with the turbulence. And turbulence is kind of very sensitive one, so let's set it to 2 and see what you're gonna get. And you see it's very aggressive for 2. So I'm gonna set it to point. What we need to do is we need to animate it. So probably gonna leave it at 1 for the first probably 8 frames. I'm gonna set it here to 2. Set the key to 2. And this is frame 14. I'm gonna bring it down to 0.1. And I'm gonna set a key. And that's what I'm getting so far here. I think what we need to do, I think we need to check our what is it? Dynamic simulation here. So I'm going to go to Window, Animation, Graph Editor here, and it's Simulation Rate Scan. At 1 is 6, and this one is at 1.5. I change it to 10. Come on. Trying to. Alright. I'm gonna just set it from here. Okay. Oh no. For some reason I can't grab it. Maybe I'm gonna change it. Oh well. Okay. I'm still not used to Maya's graph editors, so I'm not sure how to grab this one here. Let's turn it back to Bezier, I think. United here. Alright, I'm really not sure how to move these arcs here, but I guess I'm gonna just turn it back to this one here. I'm gonna play it and see what we're gonna get. Okay, 1.01. I think I'm gonna up this one here, so I'm gonna go to Windows, Drink, Animating, Graph Editor again. Which one is it? Oh, it's the dampening. And yes, it's fine. So I'm gonna grab this one this way. Oh well. Okay. Next, let's try now. Let's enable our all grids. Let's see what we get. And you can see it's more explosive. And now I think it's all because of the shading here. I need to up my shading, let's say 0.1, and the opacity here. That's what I need. There you go. Okay. I try to turn off my all grids. It's going to be smoother. Yeah. So I'm gonna bring back my all grids here. Next, let's see. Let's up the res very quick and see what you're gonna get. Let's up it just to 50 here. You can see it's very explosive. Down to shading. I'm gonna up this one to 0.92. Let's print it again. And now you can see we don't have that mushroom look again. And basically we got a different kind of explosion of hole. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna up the res, and I'm gonna show you guys what we got. Awesome, I like it. Let's see what the edge. I'm gonna do very quick. Let's see the transparency here. Raise it a little bit. This one here, I'm going to change it to a little brownish kind of color, and kind of darker brown. Maybe lighter. I love this shading effect here, like how much fire you want or how much smoke you want. It's all up to you. Let's go back to the beginning here. Play it again. And as always, you can see all what we have here is just one container and one emitter. We don't have, it's not really a fancy explosion, but this would get you going on making kind of nice explosion, and they don't have that usual mushroom look that you can see in a lot of other effects. Okay, what I'm gonna try here, I'm gonna try to up the, just testing here, but I'm gonna try to up the simulation rate here to 8, and I'm gonna set a key. And play. It's gonna be very explosive, as you can see. Awesome. One more thing. Just turn it off very quick, go back down, go back to 0. I'm going to turn off my, disable my evaluation, go back to my graph editor here, window, animation, graph editor here, and I'm going to grab my turbulence. F, you can zoom into it, and frame, that's turbulence strength. 8, it's 2. But I don't have a key for a turbulence frame 0. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my this thing. I'm going to close the ones that I don't need. That's the only thing that I don't like about Maya, all this menu that you gotta collapse, open and on. So I'm gonna set a key for say 5 at the beginning. Set a key and play. Oops. Enable. It's gonna be dramatic at the beginning. Yep, that's kind of the effect we are looking for here. So I'm gonna calculate a higher res and I'll show you guys what we got. Okay. Okay, I'm back. I simulated 70 frame here and I upped the res to 70, I think. If I up the res to 70, and then I just find a different view here. So I'm gonna go to window rendering. First I'm gonna disable the display of this box here. It's kind of annoying. So I'm gonna under the display here I'm gonna put none. And next I'm gonna go under Windows rendering editor, and I'm gonna grab hardware render buffer here. And I'm gonna go under render attribute. I'm gonna change the name here to explosion. So from frame 1 to 70. And under render here, do the render sequence. I'm gonna let it render. I'm gonna be back when it's done. Okay, just finished the rendering. It took like a couple of, probably like a minute or so. So I'm gonna bring it back up. You go to flipbook here and you choose it, and that's what we made. I like it. And this is our explosion here. It's really nice. So I hope you guys learned something new, and I'm still learning Maya too, and at the same time I'm sharing what I learned, so don't get me, I'm really more comfortable with 3ds Max, but I'm open to exploring new softwares and stuff like, because you never know when you need them. And I like Maya to the fact like this stuff are built in right into it, so you don't need any third-party plugins or anything. So this is Maya's explosion here, so I hope you guys like it. So if you as usual, comment, subscribe. If you get a request, just paste it on Facebook, and see you guys next week. I'm gonna be doing more tutorials on Maya, so it's gonna be a while before I'm gonna get back to Max, because I'm still learning Maya too, and I'm gonna share what I'm learning with everybody else. So I hope you guys enjoyed this and learned how to make this kind of explosion with Maya, and thank you for watching.